Yay, we're live. Welcome to Q&A Thursday. Welcome, Toolkit Masters. Great to have you here. Deep breath for our last one for 2017. So sad in one way, exciting in another. Exciting for the Team Leader Toolkit crew because they're going to be having some time off over the holidays, which is fantastic. And we will be coming back early in January to really set some goals and see how we can make things even better for you Toolkit Masters in 2018. So watch this space. We've got lots of bits and pieces happening. So in the meantime, let's do a bit of housekeeping. I just want to make sure that people can see and hear me. If you can see and hear me, can you just let me know in the comments down the bottom right-hand side? I'd love to know that you can hear me. So let me make sure that you can. Yeah. So it'd be great to hear from you to make sure that you can see and hear me. I know we've got some online. Okay. Terry, yes, you can see and hear me. Fantastic. Everyone else can see and hear me? All right, Debbie can see and hear you. Nice to see you, Debbie. Excellent. Fantastic. All right, we've got confirmation from more than one person, so I'm happy to move on from there. Fantastic. All right. So our last live coaching for 2017, Q&A Thursdays has been absolutely instrumental for me to learn what you guys need. So when I get your questions through the email, when I answer your questions online, it really gives me an idea of where the pain points are out there and how I can value add. How can I make things easier for you? How can I provide you the solutions that you need right here and right now? So they've been absolutely fantastic, and I am absolutely going to continue them in 2018. We're going to tweak a few things. So Webinar Jam, which is the platform that I'm using now, has actually got a new build. So they've got some new tweaky things that I can utilize. So I'm going to, in my PowerPoints in the future, I'm hoping to have picture in picture as well as the PowerPoint so that you'll get both of us. So there's just things that are going to change and tweak and be improved along the way. So watch this space. We will be continuously making sure that we're delivering as much great service to you guys as possible. So this is the last webinar for 2017. We reopened the office officially in January 15th, 2018. We're actually back in the office a couple of weeks before that because we're doing some planning and goal setting for 2018. So there will be some people in the office. The email will be manned at all times. So if you have got a question, any thoughts, any queries, then we will be able to answer those for you online over that Christmas festive season. So what's going to be open? The unlocking portal is still available for you to use. All the tool suite is still going to be available. All the replays of previous Q&A Thursdays are going to be there. We're going to have the email manned so that people will be able to get back to you. If you've got any questions, thoughts, queries, just bring them on at ask@teamleadertoolkit.com and we'll be able to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. So the only thing that's going to be shut down over that 4-week period is actually the live coaching Q&A Thursdays. So it just allows us to focus on setting and making everything the best it can be for 2018, have a bumper year. So that's kind of where we are right now. So the first Q&A Thursday for 2018 will actually be, the first Thursday is the 18th of January. So that's where we're going to start back. So write that down in your calendars. Make sure you don't miss it. I'm going to turn all the other sort of indicators and stuff off over that Christmas period, so you're not going to get inundated with any emails about webinars. However, just the week before the 18th of January, we might start sending out some emails just as a quick reminder so that you guys don't miss our first one back. So it'll be great to see you there. Now, over the Christmas period too, we've got 3 new tools that are coming into the tool suite, so watch this space for that. So we're going to have 2 specifically around handling stress for yourself and handling stress for your team. This is an extremely fatiguing time of the year where people can feel very tired, overwhelmed, anxious, all those sorts of things. So there's some good watch out tools there for you that you'll be able to pick up over those holiday period. And there's also one that got uploaded a couple of weeks ago that had the miracle coaching questions. So there was over 50 coaching questions in there. So if you're doing one-on-ones with your team, or if you're having a sort of a conversation to work out what their development areas are, or what are their wants and desires, all those sorts of things, those miracle questions are fantastic. So just have a look at them, pick 4 or 5 that are really good for you, keep them in your brain box, and you can fire them off anytime you like. So they work really, really well. I use them all the time on my children, as well as when I used to have a team. Well, I still have a team, but I don't use it on them because they've read the book. All right, so what are we going to do today? So I wanted to have a chat to you about signs of if you're being burnt out, if you're at the point where you're going, I'm burnt out. Now, this is the boiled frog syndrome. Now, what do I mean by this? So if you were, someone said this analogy to me, so I've never actually done this, so please don't be calling me up telling me I'm inhumane. But anyway, if you were put a frog in a pot of water and you put that pot of water on your stovetop and you slowly boiled it, the frog would not jump out because the change in temperature would be such at a slow level that they wouldn't be able to acknowledge that they were actually boiling to death, right? So that's similar to being burnt out or stressed or fatigued and all those sorts of things. It can slowly happen to you over a period of time until it gets to the point where you're going, holy hell, I'm not sleeping. It's impacting my mood. It's impacting my family. This is too much. It gets to the point where you're at boiling point before you jump out of the pot. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to show you the 4 signs that you are getting burnt out, because at this time of year, we get a lot of leaders that are, as I say, feeling very tired, feeling very fatigued. So we're going to talk about what those signs are. We're going to talk about what causes you being burnt out, and then some tweaks on how you can change that and make it better. So specifically, so when you start 2018, you started off on a really good footing, and know those signs, know what cause it, and know what things you have to put in place so it doesn't happen again to you. And believe you me, it will happen again, but you might just have an awareness of it, so you'll be able to nip it in the bud and catch it early before it makes any sort of real significant difference. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. This is the last time, I'm hoping this will be the last time that I share my screen with you and you only see a screen. Hopefully in future you'll have a little me and a picture in picture and the screen to be a little bit more engaging, because I do sort of miss that because I'm still doing all these sorts of things as the screen's on there, even though you can't see me. So so hopefully we'll be able to do that. Anyway, bear with me for about 5 seconds while I share my screen with you. Let's talk about the 4 signs that you're a burnt out leader. Now, you know, we talked about this already. Stress affects us in all different ways, yeah? So for leaders, it can be a long process to get to that final burnout. But there's plenty of opportunities along the way to rectify things. So, and that's only if the vital signs are noticed in time. So if you know what these signs are, then you can get in there early and you can start alleviating those things that burn you out. So let's have a look at what those 4 signs are. So one of the most noticeable symptoms is a chronic fatigue. And this is where you basically feel tired all the time. Even when you go home trying to rest, you feel tired. Now, it's easy to let this become the norm. Many leaders just put it down to the wear and tear of the job. Oh, you know, things have been really busy, or there's lots of change coming through, or I've had a big recruitment drive or whatever. And all of a sudden it becomes the norm and you're forever tired. Now, this is not the norm, everybody. So please let me tell you, it is not the norm. It is something that needs to be addressed. So if you're feeling like you're always tired, this could be a sign that you're getting burnt out. And it's something to take note of. And we'll talk about how you get there and what you can do in a minute. But this is something that you can do. This is something that happens to you if you're moving towards that burnt out sort of phase. Okay. Another one, you might also be just thinking about work constantly. From the moment you get up in the morning to the moment you go to bed, just thinking about work. Now, you can also spend several hours tossing and turning with work on your mind rather than recharging your batteries having a sleep. So this is another thing that really is a good sign that you're getting burnt out, is all you can think about is all the issues that you're having at work, all the constant barrage of stuff that's happening to you. That needs to change, okay? So what's another sign? Getting angry at people. So you might start to get angry at people and then feel overly self-critical for feeling that way. So you might get angry at someone and go, oh, why did I do that? You know, I just couldn't help myself. So the anger might be directed at your boss who's implementing the wrong strategies or putting too much pressure on your particular area or where you work. It might be on your family if they're driving you nuts or you feel like they're driving you nuts. It might be your team members as well that's doing it. So there's lots of things that can drive you nuts. But when you get angry and you have a short wick, shorter than normal, then this is definitely a sign that you're getting burnt out. And then sort of the fourth one and the final one is becoming cynical with the world. So when you burn out, you become cynical about the world around you. So negativity creeps in and you suddenly get quick to be irritable and snapping at those you know, that are in your team when things don't get right and, you know, all those sorts of things. So you can't see the positivity around you. You see the negativity around you. And that in itself is absolutely fatiguing. So this is the signs that you've got to look for. So just to reiterate those 4 signs again, that chronic fatigue where you're forever tired, even when you're home relaxing, you feel tired. When all you can think about is work, every waking moment you're thinking about a problem at work or how to solve it or somebody at work, if that's all you can think about. A third one is getting angry at people really, really quickly, more quickly than you normally would. And then the fourth one is being cynical with the world. So having that negativity around you all the time and feeling like it's really, really tough to move into the positive space. So those are 4 definite signs that you're feeling burnt out. So how do we get there? How do we get there? So there's plenty of reasons that can lead to burnout for leaders. And here's just a few of them that I'm going to share with you today. So the wrong goals. So one of those could be this here. So your business has either got really unclear goals or the confused one, and they simply haven't communicated to you properly on what they are. So you're not sure where you're heading. And if you're not sure where you're heading, it can be really pretty impossible to get there, right? So if you've got the wrong goals or unclear goals or confusing goals, that could be a real good cause for feeling burnt out. Another one is a bad strategy. So bad strategy forms the basis of poor goal setting. So it comes from the top down. So if your leaders are not giving you what you need with regards to strategy, then how can you goal set? So there needs to be some talk to your bosses above you to say, hey, we've got some strategy issues here we need to fix for 2018. Exploitation. So good leaders can be exploited, especially by managers who are trying to save on costs and all those sorts of things. So this could mean that you're working on far too many things at once. You're stretching yourself, you're stretching your team, everyone's getting stressed out. So really have a good think about, are you doing a normal person's work? Or are you doing 3 people's work? If you're doing 3 people's work, something's got to give. And you've got to have one of those courageous conversations with your manager to say, I've got priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In 2018, I can focus on 3 of those priorities. So can you please tell me which 3 you would like me to focus on? And with the other 3, so that I don't have ill mental health or my well-being suffers, I'm going to make sure that they are put aside. Or I can give them back to you and you can delegate them to somebody else. So you're going to have that courageous conversation if you feel like you're being exploited. Okay, the wrong management approach or the wrong leadership approach. So if you're pushing a leadership style that doesn't suit you. So for example, if your bosses are saying to you, no, this has got to be done on time and and you're ending up like baby Hitler, you know, this has got to be done like this, and that isn't you as a leader, then that can make you feel under pressure and even inadequate. And this often happens when managers are forced to be too autocratic. So autocratic is putting orders down instead of working with your teams. So if you feel like you're using a wrong leadership approach or your management is asking you to do things that go against your values, then this is something you've got to look at and change. It's not going to be a sustainable place for you to be without getting burnt out. All right, work overload. So if there's no respite, if there's no end in sight, it's difficult to see the wood for the trees, the longer this goes on, the more chance there is of your batteries starting to drain. And once your batteries are drained, if you're not doing things on the other side to balance it and fill them up, like hobbies, like getting enough rest, like exercise, like eating well and having the right nutrition and hydration, spending time with family and friends, doing those things you like, that fills up your batteries, right? And if you're overloaded, that depletes your batteries. So if you're at a point where your batteries are depleted and you're not doing anything to fill them up, you're going to find that you are in overload. And the more this goes on, the worse it's going to get. So you need to be mindful. If you're going to deplete some batteries, you have to find a way to fill them up. And doing that by doing the things that you love. Do you like pottery? Do you like spending time with your family and your kids? Do you like to go on a bit of travel over the weekend? Do you like to go walking? You know, whatever those things are, you need to fill up your batteries. So have a look at how you can do that so the batteries don't drain, never to be filled again. All right, work-life imbalance. So most of us want a decent balance between our home and work lives, but it's often difficult to gauge, especially in this modern world that we've got now. So it really requires you to sit down, do a bit of self-reflection. So are you happy? Is there something that you need support in at work? Do you need to be able to drop your kids off once a week at school? Do you need to have those flexible working conditions? Is it something that you're going to have that conversation about? So, a creeping imbalance, this can happen over time where it creeps towards a work sort of instead of life balance, it creeps toward, and it has a huge detrimental effect on both you physically and psychologically until it ends up affecting your family and your friends and all that sort of stuff. So you want to keep this front of mind and in focus for the whole year. Even set yourself some goals, whether that be, okay, I'm going to set some goals that I am going to read that book once a month, or I am going to take that pottery lesson, or I am going to take those kids to wherever, and just make sure that you keep on it so that you can really keep that work-life balance in place, because it's really easy to creep into the unbalanced life. So we don't want that to happen. Okay, so what else have we got here? We've got your team members are driving you mad. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so the members that you work with may well be troublesome. Everybody has members in their team that are a little bit troublesome. That could be because the industry you find yourself working in. It could be because the policies of the company don't suit them, or it could be simply the individuals themselves. So what you've got to do is work out what team members are on your team that are actually making life difficult for you right now, and then trying to work individually with those team members, okay? And you can't do lots at once. You might just focus on the one that needs the help the most, and then you can focus on the others. So make sure that you're addressing this, because this will, especially when you're at that point where you're very fatigued, you're nearly at the burnt out stage, you're getting angry all the time, you're just not going to have the patience or the mindset to be able to deal with it. So just focus on one at a time. Make sure you have those courageous conversations. Make sure you sit down and set expectations. Make sure that team member knows where the line in the sand is drawn. Okay. What's some other ways? Lack of training. So this, you might not have the necessary skills to do your job properly. So if you've been given, 3 different hats to wear, and one of them's your job to lead a team, another one is to be the Excel spreadsheet guru, and another one is to run that particular project, then has somebody given you the training on how to do Excel spreadsheets? Has someone given you the training on how to do PowerPoint? Do you need to have that to be able to do your job properly? Because if you don't have those tools, then this is why it's really you're going to find it difficult to cope. So adding to your skill set can make a huge amount of difference if it's going to help you with your day-to-day job. Okay, so maybe there's a lack of training there. Maybe that's a conversation you need to have with your manager to say, for my own development, I want to go and do that Excel spreadsheet course. It's a 2-day course off-site. It's going to give me all the skills that I need to be able to do this in quick time, rather than me spending hours and hours over doing it wrong. So, let's get onto that as well. Okay, that's it. That's all the causes and some little things that we can do to make it different. Is there any thoughts from you guys? While I'm getting you back, I'm going to get some thoughts from you guys. I'm going to see what you thought of that and if you feel like you're at a space where you're burning out. So bear with me while I get you back. Fantastic. So those 4 burnout signs: chronic fatigue, where you feel tired all the time, even if you're at home resting, you feel tired. Feeling like all you think about is work. If all you're thinking about is work and every waking hour, and even it's taking up your sleep time, that's a sign that you're getting burnt out. Number 3, I'm going the wrong way. Number 3 is getting angry at people. So feeling like you've got a short week and your patience is not there and you're getting angry with people. And that could be at work or home. That could be a sign that you're getting burnout. And the 4th one is that cynicism. So if you're feeling like you're really struggling to see the positives in things and you're finding everything quite negative and you're a bit cynical, that could be that could be a sign as well. So those 4 signs are things that you need to watch out for. We were listed through the reasons of why they could be there and some little hints and tips of why we need to make ourselves self-aware so that we can do things that we need to do to make sure that we adequately maintain our own well-being. All right, so have we got any questions? Debbie, Terry, whoever else is online? I think I had a few online there before. So is there any questions from you guys? Have you been burnt out? Have you gone through this? I know I have. Have you guys gone through this? It's not a good place to be. It's a horrible place to be because it doesn't only impact you, it impacts the people around you, whether that be your family, your friends, your team. And then, they suddenly start coming up to you saying, you're all right, you're just not yourself. When people are saying that to you, that should be a big wake-up call to go, hello, what's going on here? I need to self-reflect. I need to look after me for a little while. Okay, so have we got any thoughts? Debbie, have you been there? Terry, have you? I'll give you a couple of minutes to write some things down. In the meantime, I've got some exciting news with regards to new version of Webinar Jam. So Webinar Jam will let us be a little bit more interactive, has quizzes, it has things that I can pre-record and put on and get your thoughts down the side. So there's lots and lots of things where we can be a little bit more interactive with each other, which I'm really looking forward to because I love it when people ask me questions and have comments and all that sort of stuff. So it's really good. All right. All right, so you haven't been there, Terry? Okay, well, lucky for you, and I'm hoping that this will give you some insights that you won't ever get there. Had a 2-year period, Leanne, of working 60 hours plus a week. But burnout was a constant state. Not worth the pain. No, you're absolutely right, Leanne. It's not worth the pain. When you look back, you think, do you know what? If I'd taken a month off over that time, that building wouldn't have fallen down. Those things wouldn't have, suddenly combusted and burnt down. So, yeah, it's hard, though, when you're in the moment to have that clarity. So I'm glad that you've got that to reflect back on. That's a good thing. You've learned from that. You're going to go forward. And the best thing is that you can recognise it in yourself and you can recognise it in your team members. So it's a great place to be with that. So thanks for sharing, Leanne. That's great. Debbie, you've been there. Terry hasn't. You're lucky, Terry. Don't ever go there. It's not a nice place to be. You do not want to be a boiled frog. You really don't. All right. Okay, is there any more questions? So this is our last one for 2017. If you've got questions, now is the time to ask me. Remember, if something comes to you after we log off today, that's okay. The Ask at Team Leader Toolkit email will still be operable for the whole festive season. We will be able to get back to you within 28 to 48 hours, except over the public holidays. You have to count that in as weekends as well. So but over the normal working days, we will be able to get back to you within that 24 to 48 working hours. Okay, so working days, I should say. So we will be able to contact you still, and we'll be able to give you the solutions that you're looking for. So we will just give it to you. What we might do then is still ask your permission to use it for the Q&A Thursdays, but it'll be for the 2018 series. So it might not be for a few weeks, which is why we would get back to you early with any solutions that we've got for your thoughts. Okay, so without further ado, I think we're on. I think this is it. Oh, I'm going to miss you guys. All right, thank you so much for coming and listening to me. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your questions. 2017 has been a great year for me. I think 2018 is going to be a bumper. I'm looking forward to see you guys in the new year. Again, use the Facebook site, the secret Facebook site. If you don't have access, it was on your email that you got this morning. You've got access to the unlocking portal. You've got access to all the tools, all the replays you've got access to. And of course, we'll be back on 18th of January, which is a Thursday, 2018. And I will see you all then. Thank you. Fantastic. See you then. Take care. Have a great Christmas. Have a great New Year. Speak to you soon. Cheers. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.